people around anymore. Looks like that.
Vache.
Looks like we're back here again. Huh? Traveler? Are you... That's...
Vache?
Hey, why are you still walking? Huh? Hang on. Hey, Traveler? Stop walking! Come on, wake up!
Vache, are you... my dear Vache? No, wait. You seem to be someone else. Do you know? Wait. Who am I? My memories feel like they have been washed away like a flood. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear while I... Yes, that is what I was. I do not know how I came to be like this either. I also remember going to many places. No matter where I went, Vache would go with me. I knew how dearly he loved me. And I also... But now... we no longer... No! Our reunion no longer has any meaning. There is no way for us. The thought of me gives him no succor. So let it lie. If you meet Vache, tell him not to look for me. Tell him to move on. That perhaps that is so. As I was submerged in the waters. If only I could have comforted him. Told him that I did not suffer. Is that what you call it? Dissolving. It was a state of neither fear nor frenzy, with only an endless heat. I could also liken it to being a thirsty person who drinks water for the first time. And only... I think I hear your companion. Farewell then. I am glad that...
It's a whole army of Gardamex. Chlorand? Quick, now's our chance! I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Chlorand. But before I do so, could you
I followed you. It seemed to me that danger has followed you more closely.
I believe that following someone without their knowledge is actually called stalking.
Mr. Callus's last wish was for me to ensure your safety, and I will not betray his trust. He would do the same, were he...
Do not speak of my father!
Sorry, demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
Thank you for your aid, Miss Clorand, but do keep an eye out for your manner of speech. I believe we all wish to avoid unnecessary...
Sorry, I did not consider your feelings.
Whatever. What else do you know? How did you come to the conclusion that I'd be in grave danger?
I doubt I know much more than you. But I believe that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances, your performance tonight will almost certainly attract their attention.
I'm sure they've known about me. To be honest, I'm shocked it's taken them this long to act against me. And what about these Gardermechs? I thought only those associated with the Maison Gardiennage could control them.
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. They are not the ones used by the authorities to enforce the law. I can only conclude that some powerful or wealthy party must have obtained them via illegal means, deploying them as a private...
What? Your point being that they're out of Spina di Rosula's league, then?
Yes. Be careful, and do not act rashly.
I will continue investigating, no matter what. We will bring the truth to light. That's... Regardless, thank you for your help today, Clarand. But if you get any ideas, tell...
I do not think that they'll strike again anytime soon. So I shall stop following you.
Right. I suppose that's the best news we've gotten today.
Demoiselle, I believe that Miss Clorand was being sincere with you. If we tried, we could attempt to...
I know, she's...
Oh, thank goodness! Paimon thought we were dumb! Those Gardermechs came out of nowhere while you were unconscious! And not... Oh, and there was that champion duelist named Clorand who came out to save us too!
Oh, come now. Forget all that polite talk. That wasn't really a farewell meal we had back there. Not for me, anyway. In truth, I hope that every meal we have together, as such, we're still partners. There's no need...
It will take 50 years for me to match Demoiselle's magnanimity.
If it were me, I would have joined the Spina di Rosula on account of her good...
All right, you two.
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger? You sure did show up in the nick of time.
Well, to be honest, you're the one who tipped us off, Paimon.
Huh? Really? Paimon contributed somehow? Ooh, Paimon's even...
Yes, all thanks to you grabbing my drink by mistake.
How did that help?
After we parted ways, I was on the way back to one of our bases when I suddenly thought of what you said, that the Fanta tasted kind of salty and icky. Fanta only comes in sweet flavors, so how could it have tasted salty? The color of the drink, if I recall, had a...
So the Fanta had been spiked with water from the primordials.
Yes. So, if you hadn't drunk that cup for...
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of awards for you as we speak for safe...
Huh? Really?
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate. But whoever did this left no trace. That's when I figured out that you might be in danger and hurried here as quickly as...
But why would they go after us too? All we did was defend Linny in court and help clear his name. Ugh, now we're caught.
Well, you did foil a plan that they were probably pretty proud of, and almost got their name in the process. Speaking of which, did anything strange happen when you drank the primordial seawater?
Well, it can't be coincidence that the traveler fainted just now. She said that she heard that voice. Oh, and this time Paimon heard it too. But it was real faint. Does this situation have to do with the primordial sea? Does that mean the primordial seawater raises someone's sensitivity to hydro when it's used on people who are not...
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing, to be honest.
New intel? While you were out cold?
Well, let's hear it, shall we? Oh. Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell. I suppose he hasn't stepped forward as a witness in court lately. Since he saw that young woman dissolve, he was at least at the crime, but he never gave testimony or any information regarding people dissolving in the primordial seawater. Yes, thank you. This is very important information indeed. We will continue to investigate. Oh, you mean you'll help us investigate?
Well, you did say that our farewell meal didn't really count. That means we're still partners. And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not. You're not gonna let those people who targeted us get...
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite so pleased. You are the face of Spina di Rosula.
You talk too much. Well, in that case, let's head to one of our bases, shall we? I'll arrange a We also have some plans to go over, and hopefully we can deepen our bonds as partners. But we'll take that one step at a time, I guess.
Don't worry, our base is definitely secure.
This scenery is wonderful. Surely enough to convince anyone to become a wanderer.
It's right up ahead. But
I've been keeping watch, Demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone suspicious thus.
very good. But let's not.
I shall find rooms for our respect.
Thank you, Malus. Now,
Time to go.
So, this is your big...
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present
well, our funds have been a little. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds often come from citizenry.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone. But if you have the support of the people...
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years ago.
Your father... He was the previous boss...
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me...
No, I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And as partners, this is something I hope that my father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor instead of standing trial. He died in the duel.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss would crop up and prove. But strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he refused to surrender. 3 years later, I still don't understand why he. How could he protect his honor if he's dead? If anything, the closest piece of info I have is that my father had been.
Ah, so that's why you're so determined to get to the bottom of that case.
That's right. I've also tried, however, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind the I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend, I must. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact he died due to complications when giving birth to. And now, here I am investigating his death. You really are a hand.
Demoiselle, please, if there is anything...
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. There are none whom I respect. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was one murder case. Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our...
Wait, if Callus was such a good man, wouldn't people at least be...
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something exclusive to people from Fontaine, really. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good people fall into an abyss from one slip-up just...
But how could... Never mind. If Callus was really falsely accused, we have to find the truth. He didn't...
There is one other thing. Master Callus's
Oh, her? Well, then, isn't that as good as saying that she was the one who killed him? Yeah, that's not the sort of thing that you can just let go.
Miss Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If her opponent doesn't yield, she knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but seeing how he was resolute in the arena, there was only ever one choice she could have made.
It's not that I don't understand her at all, but I just can't deal with this yet.
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel. You don't have to force...
Afterward, Miss Clorand told us that at the start of the duel, yes, that is our understanding.
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take... Oh, right. Anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Even if it did sound like a... thanks. You two should go and
Yeah. Paimon's feet.
Please, relax and get some sleep. We will ensure you...
Paimon slept, huh? Navia?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them off your back. But never mind that. When did you get back? Were you waiting here the whole time?
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding the name Vash.
Wait, so you didn't sleep at all?
How could I after having such critical new evidence appear?
Guess Paimon wasn't speaking for everyone just now, huh?
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't seem to have. I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation.
Does that mean...
No. There is one ray of hope. One place, and that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette. If the Oceanette you met is one of the young women who went missing recently, we should...
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. Guess that's the hard-working Chief Justice for you. In that case, let's go talk... Aren't you coming along, Navia?
No, it's nothing. The palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Time to go.
Halt! Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied with official matters.
Huh. This place does look pretty heavily guarded. Guess that proves that Nerva...
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be related to. Our...
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. Paimon can tell.
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some, we're busy, so please leave if you don't have a reason to...
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the...
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorney.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Huh. Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on...
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief just...
Thanks so much.
Please come in.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Nervalet. We only lied to get in because we didn't...
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance.
So you're not met...
We're looking for a man called Vache. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some...
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here a moment while I browse through the file.
Who knew that Nervalet would be so easy to talk...
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vache has been involved in any case, criminal or civil, in the past several years. There are no records of him either in the files or in my...
Traveler? What if it was really just a...
Is that so? All right then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette. Well...
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man.
And what are you trying to say? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only said those things. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear. If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel? Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die? Despised and hated by all. Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed. And there are still so many things I never got to tell him. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of...
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never say it's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Navia, are you...
I'm I'm fine.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was...
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait.
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water? And yeah, and if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even if he explained what he saw to the authorities.
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're completely right. All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for sure this...
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself? All right, then I'll wait for you at Poisson.
Whoa, what a huge ship!
There's no need to be so surprised. While it may... My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps a gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious... Paimon was confused why a group with such a But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself...
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all.
Yeah. Time to go. Yeah.
Melus, we're back!
Apologies for the wait. You said before that you still had some business.
About that, you still remember...
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both...
Could you tell us a bit...
Yeah, of course. Many years at a glance...
Wait! Didn't that guard come...
Yes, if you drink synth for an extended amount of time, and if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience... As he oversaw Poisson, my father was...
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath. But no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth operation and put an end to the problem once and for all.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about it that night. But then... We...
How did that...
Sounds just like... In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all. Looking back on it, though, precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, but Considering it, you're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for. I think this third person is probably the key to the full. On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as our opponent is insidious and cruel. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost, there is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wish.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula, did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death? And live out my life just... I've never accepted that. Ever. Not since that day. And I want to find out the real answer.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable. And more importantly, demoiselle...
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Synth and the serial But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle...
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him that he had... And the serial disappearances case cost him great. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. But once he passed away, knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some key incriminating evidence for the other side, and even told some members of Spina de Rosula, but as long as you remain safe, he would not share the evidence with the... If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the
Right, so nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle's life.
No, I don't believe it. He never...
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful was still far preferable than losing.
So he chose to die in silence. So...
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not apparent. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake... I'm sure he'd be
That fool. Couldn't he have just given it to me No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought. Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need... Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where Synth is produced. When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics. But if you want to use it against the enemy...
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go...
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous... There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have but a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed.
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontaine?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how...
That's true. See, but things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected Synth with the disappearance.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Malus.
I am the butler, after all. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability...
Thank you for all of that, Malus. Have you discovered anything new in the past?
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy must be quite familiar with speed. When I announced orders to the organization's members on them was, if the vendors didn't change their plans, then after several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, the first is Florent, Spina de Rosula's senior.
Huh?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone, thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew our upcoming plans and could thus avoid capture. There's someone else like him too. Marcel, the head of Confrere.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. The boss helped it to grow to its current... In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest guilds around with a lot of business.
So, they're like a sister organization of...
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the Cynthia, it's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money to...
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the... Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to... Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activity...
I see. These are all people to think that the enemy...
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience, the enemy...
Of course. And thank you, Malus.
You're too kind, my lady. And before I forget, approving bosses in... After that incident, Jacques' wife, if it might help, you could also...
Aw, thank you so much, Mel.
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth.
It is settled, then.
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus.
Excuse me, miss.
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what...
If it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes with losing a father so...
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you. Because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a... I know only the full truth could bring closure to you.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but on the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less found our...
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe that my father could ever bring himself to shoot...
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-ups.
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only late. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually... Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of him. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy
If Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do it?
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your papa was a good...
Yeah, Papa was a really good man. The best in the whole world.
Then you should hold on to that. Good man had to do a bad thing, regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword.
Oh,
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find...
Thank you. I'm very... Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really...
You really think so? That's the first time anyone's...
are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Florent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House?
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic? Huh?
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, it was raining outside. After my partner here put the dots together for me, can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened?
Let me think. Mr. Callis was after that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. Who knew that? My first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a but when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callis was standing over a dead body with a gun in his hands.
So you also remember 2 guns?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never... Reason being, Mr. Callis had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a third person there who was turned...
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring an extra... The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques. Or a third person on...
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callis ended up with the gun because he seized it? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why did he didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine? And chose instead to prove his honor. Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in...
About that, Malouse told me a thing or two. So, I think I can understand why he committed. I'll tell you everything once the whole truth has been...
I understand. Then I'll leave Mr. And if I may just say one more thing. The whole Callous the Unfaithful epithet has been a thorn in my side since the day it was in... Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callous. Even after... But it was Mr. Callus's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rosula and live the life no matter what others might say. He'll always be the man I respect the most.
Don't worry. I will you and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well. Hey, Thierry, it's me.
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss...
Oh, so you...
Oh, okay. Hey.
Are you sure there isn't a...
I mean, where Callus did a fantastic. It would be next to impop. Anyway.
Ah, yes. These two. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and my father's.
Ah, I get it. If you want to go.
That'd be much.
Of course. Without that, why do you ask?
Well, so. If you.
If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. If you try to make removing a so I can promise, they're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be.
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, well, jokes aside, I'll be staying in this.
Time to go.
Hello. How may I help you? I'm here to see Mark Share.
Ah, Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young.
Oh, it's all right. I just wanted to.
Yes,
Oh!
that's right. I also witnessed to beat the Hydra.
Oh.
Apologies. It's just how fine is.
Uncle Marcel.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh,
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was all. If not for the vigil.
Oh,
alas. But rest assured, Navia. If anyone.
Thank you, Uncle. Do you have any new thoughts?
The confrérie was. Then I heard this.
Oh, it's okay.
Sounds good. All my wealth.
We've talked to all.
none of them sounded particularly suspicious.
Anyway,
But where should we start? Ah, you brought.
according to Jacques Fitton.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just.
Huh. So, what would make more sense from his perspective? Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still. Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial.
Do you think he knew, even then?
Given everything that's happened since. But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Thierry, you say? Huh. It is possible that but I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mech.
Yeah. Had he actually tampered with the mecha, if the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy.
Uncle Marcel? And with funds from the confrérie, still really hard for me to imagine, though. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of Mora and energy? Florent? It is true that he was closest to my father, and thus had the best chance of learning about his dealings with Jacques, but as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly deals with personnel and security, so he shouldn't have much means when it comes.
So you're saying he's too broke to afford a.
Exactly. He can't. Who could it be? You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel isn't.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing.
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. When the suspect is knowledgeable about. Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes, Malus did say that charging straight in there would be. We need far more solid proof before we can.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got another.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that someone you know?
Yeah, we know him.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had any.
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our.
Right. Because they'll think they've already found.
Yeah. And it'll be all.
I understand. Well, partner? Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just as since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be focused on Irenaeus. You're right. This is our best opportunity. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence.
We'll help you, just like you helped us in.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malus, Silver.
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson, and it's our hope that you're confident.
Thank you so much. Then,
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, we should also get going. The location's already been marked on the map, so let's head over.
Time to go. Time to go.
Huh. According to Malus's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance. Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the you're right. Navia's probably...
Time to go.
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearance?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist. I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back.
Hey, don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the op. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the.
No.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial.
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got. Huh? What's going on?
Why is she interjecting?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbin.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key eyewitness. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjection.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless... We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial... And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default.
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway. So I'll take you up on that offer. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge instead?
That person is... Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabaret...
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that and if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this...
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may... Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney.
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Navia.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please...
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed... Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as...
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some details.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reason.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confer. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques, lay dead from a gunshot wound. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through it. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed. These are the known facts about the...
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the trigger. In truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing all traces of him from the scene. Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared quite sensible to us at the... However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial... The testimony, however, in the end, he reconsidered, and instead shared everything with Callus, hoping to seek the latter's protection. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility, and had sent out another assassin. This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead. A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a costume to disguise himself. But now, it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene, and that they were turned into water after committing the murder. Since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe...
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these...
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove your innocence.
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine two things. One, do you have the evidence to back up your...
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very...
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just...
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a map. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of...
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is, then why didn't Mr. Callis explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least mounted a
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more important to him. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to justice. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on...
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearance.
What? If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our... Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right, but what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect and had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice? Spina di Rosula would have had no reason, but by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow it. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth and honor back.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die?
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my... But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about him.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callis was in...
Yes, as a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonor in my line of work. I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callis never
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there...
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearance.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but kind of beside the point.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a map. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callis. As a result, they planned to act after hearing two, and at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being... The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the...
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor?
I don't know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations, until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of... But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, Let Uncle Marcel teach you another low what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is. Your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me anyways.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, Demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come prepared.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial disappearances? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable?
Seems like she got the wrong guy.
At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwell once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings and to stop rushing headlong into things. You'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. While that same agency has long been taken from them, the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their many people's and whose is it a man Oh.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone.
I was waiting for you to say.
Illusion shattered.
Everyone hold hands.
Busted.
Whoa! The floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place. Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way. water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
There is no escape.
Hey!
Quietly now.
I see everything.
The range knows me. Gotcha.
Now the path is clear. Let's go.
Illusion shattered.
Make yourselves a room.
Into the wind. As one with wind and cloud. Things are about to get dicey.
Shine down.
Everyone hold hands. Yeah. Yeah. Though, as expected, that's right. What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but... Huh? You mean the girls from the cereal and then they were turned into all the boxes of things. These names. Let's see what's written here. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this... This should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still the old dog's a real menace. He can act when... I concur. Let's send some... Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water. That means this is where they make all the synth. If you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth. But the pure stuff can dissolve a human. Paimon will take notes on this incriminating... what's this over here? Looks like some kind of experiment number 16. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens 22. Sorry, Traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's just that how can someone write something that terrible and such a... You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why he... Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... So that's it! Vache was no victim. But no, that's not it either. If that's the case, in any case... Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain... Mixing in progress. Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep, it's... We've looked at almost everything here. Yeah, we haven't found anything that revealed. No wonder even Neuvillette wasn't able to find that way. Even if we bring all this back to the Sure thing. Paimon will... You take that side and Paimon will take this side. Check every... Nothing at all! And Paimon can't even find snacks either! Whoa, really? What
And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my partner. I just knew you'd return in the nick of time.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
It's all right, Monsieur Nervalette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the... But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vacher.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair. We already know everything. After your lover, Vignier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back. You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past.
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has now been...
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior Well, Marcel, do you know where you went? You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we...
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to see things.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the trial will move on.
Do you really think I wanted to do any... Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in... No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were left. They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vignier's death was brushed away by all of you as if it... Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, it's too late. You only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice, your beloved drama, while turning a blind eye to the suck. Vignier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together, wherever she goes. But I'm not from this blasted place, so I can't be dissolved.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Do you all see? I can't go! I can't follow. So if I can't go where she is, what choice do I have but to try to bring her? I did all of that. And in the end, that accursed Callus still got the... I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot daughter at the very end.
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrict...
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me. I still need to save Vignier. I promise. Vignier, please, Vignier. Don't think badly of me.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia...
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually...
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind the serial... The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher, and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover. During an underwater expedition, Vignier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea, and was dissolved in front of Vacher. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others, and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to restore To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate a business in Poisson. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria, and began to manufacture and however, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into conflict with. After exchanging blows with Spina de Rasula for many years, Vacher decided to assassinate their president Callus at a bank. Although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by this. And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of Vacher's machinations that he was eventually successfully thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case. The Oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against me. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, guilty.
Guards! Take Vacher.
Good. It's what he.
With that, the serial.
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a
Yippee! We have Navia, but he's hurt so many innocent people and now he's finally getting... Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were absolutely...
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come. You can rest easy now, knowing justice has been served.
Yeah. See, Papa? Spina di Rosula's still doing well with me at the...
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have been righted, and since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got some business to attend to.
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
Ugh, what now? None of this has anything to do with me.
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can conclude.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it time for side characters like me to exit stage left?
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right? Let's just get this over.
Through evidence presented in the public trial, the guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose Mr. Tartaglia is... We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the... According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not funny! What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine
Huh? This has never happened before. The Oratrice actually returned a different verdict from the
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the Oratrice might have just convicted him on general...
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in this case, right?
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale is, by law, the final verdict. Guards, please take the suspect into custody per court.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I'm sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Hey, Monsieur Novelette, what's going on? Shouldn't they?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, all I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Why are you looking at me? I don't know what happened there either.
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but that's impossible.
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out in this court? Did you don't tell me. You thought even I had been blindsided by the Oratrice's...
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had no idea what...
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place, including my supposed shock and bafflement, was a part of an elaborate performance, with every action meant to stir up drama and excitement. And, of course, for every performance, if you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been blinded to superficial everything he's done. Not to mention the danger he poses are beyond ordinary comprehension. All shall be revealed in time. Now, having said that...
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what...
She probably just put on that performance to save face. However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity, just as I promised.
All right. After all...
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him!
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you doing over here?
Stop resisting arrest! Cease!
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first? I erased all records of that name.
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've...
Really? You did? You're sure? The Fountain of Lucine? Then she... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time. This is the last request I'll ever make in my life. You can do whatever you want to me afterwards.
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killers...
Paimon agrees. Why should we give him what he wants when he's only done a ton of super terrible...
This request, is it worth as much to you as your life?
Of course! Wait, no. It's worth even more than...
Humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just to satisfy spiritual... Very well. I will grant you.
Your Honor,
I will go with him. You do not need to work...
In that case, I shall leave him in your most capable hands, Chief.
Thank you. Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing.
Vache!
Ah!
Yes, that's it. So you heard it too.
Vignier, it's me!
Vache?
I'm here! I'm here! Where are you, Vignier? I'm coming.
Hey, wait!
Vignier, is that you? It's...
Vache? Why did you come? Didn't you? You look a lot older than I remember.
It's been more than 20 years. All this time. Only the thought of bringing you back has kept me alive. Ah, I must be dreaming. Vignier, you are my everything. I really don't know how...
But Vache, if you ask me, if not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier attorney. If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts, and my works would have been... If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. And she would not have grown old and died alone. It's all because of your selfishness, Vache.
You... Wait, you are not Vignier.
You're right. I am not Vignier. I am the sacrifices. Every woman who died by your hand. As our bodies dissolved, our consciousnesses flowed back to the our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea. And we were no longer individuals. But we became one. Just a street. I'm Cressy. I'm Lemonade. The only one I am not.
Why? But then...
She doesn't want to see you anymore. Every tendril of her consciousness is... This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. You said time and time again that you'd do any... But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she would despise you for what... You are a liar. The only thing you are not. From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness merged with Vignier's, she has had...
No! Vignier! She can't hate me.
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came from the real Vignier. But on top of that, she also said that because... She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you.
Vache.
Vache? 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 Drown.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able...
Oh, well met, partner. I knew...
Even this weather can't put a damp...
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia!
Oh, now that I believe...
Sounds like...
It's just been one thing. Everyone from Spinati this time, though.
So
It's been the dip...
That... Oh, by the way... well...
Huh?
Yeah. Wait, I believe the store... To be fair, though, she was trying to...
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I told... Oh, and it...
Oh, are you two...
Well, it was thanks to her that we were able...
Oh, that's...
Anyway, Oh, actually,
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my... And on top of that...
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
We want a good...
Sure thing.
And in that case,
Yeah, you're... Huh. This is where my father...
Huh?
Hmm?
Isn't that Dervalette? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to pay my respect.
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say there's no need for you. I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice would feel compelled to apologize.
In that case, I will stop.
You really could use some pointers on understanding human emotion. In any case, why did you come to Poisson?
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my head. Just what is just? There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning that fateful duel. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. That there was nothing, should have been, but Mr. Callus proved me utterly, if not for his sacrifice. This Mr. Callus made the choice he did for his daughter, for his associates, and in the end, from a certain perspective, one could say that he did it all. A justice that's higher than... So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callus in person. I should have noticed. This regret has filled me with a sadness that has haunted me for that high and mighty chair in the opera Epicles indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your hard work and...
I'm sorry. So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but pretty thoughtful on the inside, huh? That reminds me of Silver.
Sorry about that. Self-expression.
Didn't I just say you don't need to apologize?
So Navia and Neuvillette seem to have made their pieces. Let's not disturb them for now. We can wait till after. Paimon's never paid Huh? Oh, Paimon didn't... Oh, no. Paimon... Anyway, Neuvillette is still standing around.
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss Navia invite you to come pay your respects to her father?
We ran into Navia on the streets today, so we just followed her here.
I see. Then is...
Well, it's pretty hard to run into you like this, since you're usually super busy.
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would...
So, at court, the bad guys referred to that special water as water from the primordial seed.
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vacher and his ilk only learned of its nature and existence after extensive... There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different from that of the sea we know. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea. You could...
So it really was where everything began. It makes...
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the planets she discovered. Must have been some kind of special case, or a remnant.
So that's how it is. Oh, you really know everything, Monsieur Neuvillette. But if that's the case, then why would people...
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and nurture life, suddenly reverse itself and devour? To be frank, That also doesn't match my understanding of this world and its laws. There must still be some unknown secrets around the Is there anything else that the sea levels will rise and Does that appropriate?
That's right!
Yes, up to the rumors have it that
A prophecy?
two parts of the Speaking of if the rumors would...
What?
Is there any... My apologies. My investigation has still not... However,
But you also...
For many years, as a divinely... Not only can it produce... Which is all to say, I was not aware. In any case, I am based on Farina's reaction. While we do intend to... If we did in...
If you ask Paimon...
Is there anything... Your sibling? Another blonde-haired traveler. If he ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure he followed our laws to the letter and had no reason to appear on the stage of the opera. Is there anything else you'd like? Very well. It was my It will soon be time for me to leave this...
You really are super busy.
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so justice must work around the clock.
All right. Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.